Next on Worcester News Tonight, a day many will never forget. It's been almost 2 decades since 6 Worcester firefighters were killed in the cold storage warehouse fire. Plus, Worcester celebrates the second night of Hannukah by lighting the menorah at City Hall. But first, we begin tonight with developing news out of Paxton. Good evening, I'm Anna Botari. A man is charged in the death of his brother. 24-year-old Alexander Asia allegedly attacked his family with a hammer late Sunday night. The Worcester County District Attorney's Office says the man is now facing multiple charges. Our Cam Jandro joins us now live with more. Cam?
Yeah, Anna, still very little information on this case at the time and still no ideas on a possible motive for this incident. But the DA's office does confirm that one is dead and another has been severely injured in what appears to be a brutal attack.
Yellow caution tape blocks off Monticello Drive in Paxton, where late Sunday night, a man was killed in his family's home.
It's all shocking, really. It's the nature of the crime seems to be pretty gruesome.
I'm just shocked. I really am shocked. I mean, it's a peaceful neighborhood, very peaceful.
According to the district attorney, 24-year-old Alexander Asia was arrested and charged in connection with the death of his brother, 23-year-old innocent Asia. The DA also says Asia's mother was attacked but escaped.
My sister reported that the mother had stated that her son was trying to kill the family with a hammer.
MJ Burns says Letitia Asia came to her door after being severely wounded and immediately called 911.
My sister said that when she saw the magnitude of the injuries to Letitia, that she knew that she shouldn't touch her at all.
Asia is now facing 2 counts of assault and battery causing serious bodily injury. Neighbors along Monticello Drive say they never saw something like this coming.
They seem to be peaceful, quiet, no noise, no ruckus, nothing.
No, not in quiet Paxton.
No, I don't recall any history. You know, had there been signs, could this not have been prevented?
Now, Asia was held without bail and will have his dangerousness hearing on December 10th. His mother was taken to a local hospital and she's listed as stable. Anna?
Well, we now go to Millbury, where a 15-year-old boy was found dead in a home where a fire broke out over the weekend. According to the district attorney's office, the boy's body was found in the rubble of the living room. Our Brittany Schaefer has more.
Jen Adams remembers seeing smoke pouring out of her neighbor's Millbury home.
There were police in my driveway, so I went out and checked it out, and I didn't see any flames, just a real, large amount of smoke. Tons and tons of black, thick smoke.
At the time, Adams and the 3 family members who escaped safely had no idea a 15-year-old boy was still inside.
They're a nice family, and it's just a really, like I said, a tragic, unfortunate thing that happened. My heart breaks for him.
Millbury Fire Chief Richard Hamilton says the fire started in the living room where the body was found. He says the boy's parents and brother were all transported to the hospital.
The father tried to put the fire out with a fire extinguisher, and he got burnt in some smoke inhalation. So he was transported, the brother was transported, and then the mother was transported, maybe because of the stress of the whole situation. There was working smoke detectors in the house, so we really don't know why he couldn't have escaped.
Hamilton says the home is uninhabitable with heavy smoke damage. Neighbors say the tragedy is hitting the community hard.
It's a real tragedy for a young person or older passing away like that, and we often wonder what the reason is.
My heart's broken. I've been praying for the families, myself, my other neighbors were just... It's awful. It's horrible. The loss of a child is just horrible in such tragic circumstances.
The cause of the fire is under investigation. According to the Worcester County District Attorney's Office, an autopsy will be performed on the boy. In Millbury, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
A crowd gathers outside the Franklin Street Fire Station tonight, remembering the 6 Worcester firefighters who lost their lives in the cold storage warehouse fire 19 years ago. Those in attendance held a moment of silence and a wreath was laid to honor the Worcester 6. Many family members were in attendance, including Timothy Jackson Jr., who's the son of Timothy Jackson. He says the remembrance is touching and emotional.
The pain we all suffer, but yet it still feels like a Band-Aid getting ripped off every year.
Some still on the department say they'll never forget where they were, and others are holding on to memorabilia sent in from all over the world to pay respects. Our Chandler Walsh has more.
It's been 19 years since 6 Worcester firefighters were killed in the cold storage fire. But inside this room, it's like no time has passed. Retired Fire Lieutenant Don Courtney has kept tens of thousands of mementos left by people from Worcester and all over the country, from cards to dress caps.
People started leaving things as the fire was burning. All of a sudden, things would appear on the fence at Franklin Street, and that stuff would be taken off the fence and put aside so it could be preserved.
The space isn't open to the public, but on December 3rd, Courtney takes firefighters here to have a look. It's retired Lieutenant Steve Provost's first time seeing everything since he was responding to the fire.
Brought back a lot of the memories of what people did for us after the fire. It was quite heartwarming.
Worcester Fire Chief Michael Lavoie was also working December 3rd, 1999. He was on scene about an hour after the first call came in.
I haven't even told my wife about things I saw 19 years ago, and I don't think I'll ever be able to tell anyone.
We thought we heard the Mayday, and I never heard anything like that. It kind of caught me by surprise.
Chief Lavoie says the cold storage fire sparked immediate change in the industry, from safety techniques to technology, and those changes have saved countless firefighters' lives.
Everyone having radios, where people are, crews sticking together. More emphasis was put on safety and survival.
Lavoie says the department is working to get thermal imagers on every truck in the city to see through smoke, and several companies are creating technology to locate firefighters in buildings.
What floor are they on, whereabouts in the building, because GPS doesn't work that way. But they are working on those systems, and they're getting closer.
Lavoie says it's important to remember the Worcester Six and what they did for the community. As for Courtney, he's hoping the mementos will one day be on display in a Worcester Firefighters Museum. Switching gears now, a multi-year contract for the Worcester Police Department is agreed on by the city and police officers union. It includes framework for a body camera pilot program. It's been in the works for years, and it's something Lieutenant Sean Murtha says they're now looking to do as soon as possible.
We have the outlines of a plan. We're adding to that all the time, and we're going to use our experience with the pilot program and see how it works, and adjust that going forward.
The city says the pilot program will begin after necessary training and finalization of body-worn camera policy. The contract covers fiscal years 2018 through 2020. A single car crash in Sterling kills one man early Monday morning. A portion of Route 110 was closed for a period of the day as police investigated the crash. The Sterling Police Department says the car struck a guardrail, rolled over, and ejected the operator. It's unclear how long the vehicle had been off the road, since it was not easily visible from the roadway. The crash is being investigated by Massachusetts State Police Reconstruction Team and the Sterling Police Department. The victim has not been identified. A 23-year-old man is charged with leaving the scene of a fatal crash. A Norwell man's body was discovered on the Mass Pike in Auburn back in August. The man charged with leaving him there, Samuel Lenahan, is scheduled to be arraigned later this month. Court records say the victim, Johan Songdal III, was high on an LSD-type substance before jumping from a moving car. Tonight, President George H.W. Bush is being remembered in Worcester and across the country. The 41st president passed away this weekend at his home in Houston. Our Rosalind Flaherty spoke with a former Worcester counselor who works closely with Bush.
When David Forsberg first heard of the passing of former President George H.W. Bush, he was sad but also thankful to have known him.
Just what a privilege it was to have worked for him and served with him.
The 41st president died Friday night at the age of 94. Forsberg was a Worcester City Councilor when he signed on to his presidential campaign with 6 others from Massachusetts in 1978.
It was great to be in that early because there was no Secret Service. We got to spend a lot of time with him. When he came to Worcester, Paul Salucci and I picked him up at the Worcester Airport in Paul's car.
Bush didn't win the Republican nomination in 1980, but he and Forsberg became close. He served full-time on Bush's next presidential campaign and then in his administration.
He could not have been more gracious, more thoughtful, During the campaign, my father died. I still have this wonderful note from he and Barbara that he sent from the campaign trail, with condolences.
Forsberg says some people don't realize some of the great things he accomplished as president.
He was the driving force between the People with Disabilities Act, and he never gets any credit for domestic policy. But I think his finest achievement was handling the mechanics of really ending the Cold War and how to wind that down with everyone keeping their dignity.
Forsberg says the president was a fighter, loved life, and lived it with dignity. And now he will be laid to rest next to his wife, Barbara.
President Bush was very big on dignity. He always said that if it goes badly, and he said this quote to his granddaughter in an interview, and it really stuck with me. He said, if it goes badly, it's me. If it goes well, it's us. And that really was the way he operated.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
A second candle lit tonight in honor of the second night of Hannukah. Mayor Joseph Petty, along with local rabbis and Jewish Federation leaders, gathered at City Hall Monday for the lighting ceremony. Executive Director of Jewish Federation of Central Massachusetts, Stephen Schimmel, says the Jewish community plays a big role in the history of Worcester. He says lighting the menorah with the mayor is significant.
After a year in the city, and I think it's a good city to live in.
It shows that there's a good relationship between the Jewish community and the elected officials of the city, and that we're welcome here. And I think that that's very important given the history of Jewish people around the world.
Schimmel says there are events taking place each day of Hannukah. For the calendar of events, you can visit jfcm.org. Hannukah ends the evening of December 10th.